Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Meet Me in My Corner. I'm Dr. K, and I'm your host. I promise you, I don't think I could have ever imagined that the support for this podcast would be what it is so early on, and that your girl would be charting. You guys have made me so happy. And it's not because I'm on the charts, it's because the connection that I really wanted to achieve with people, for it to be deeper, and also for you to be accepting and welcoming of me being on this journey of understanding myself better and just really being on a journey of finding home in myself is paying off. It's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. So yesterday, which was Saturday the 23rd, because you're only going to get this on the Wednesday, I went to a wedding. But before I left for that wedding, I was on my Instagram and my friend was posting about my podcast. She's such a supportive person. So yeah, I knew that definitely was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to happen then. And then she sent me a very long text message. And somewhere in that text message, she spoke of how she's so proud of me because I'm on a journey of self actualization. Now, I thought I knew what that meant until I Googled it, and damn, girl, you're so good with words. Chomi, I know you're going to listen to this. You're so good with words. So I Googled it, and in summary, it's all about one realizing their intellect or their creative or social potential and using it for internal gain. So it's not anything about external, so it's not about money or anything like that. It's for whatever internal gain that they're looking for. And she was honestly on the mark. I knew starting this podcast would really um, be something that I could fall in love with doing, but I didn't think it would do this. Guys, honestly, having these conversations with you, preparing for them, even preparing for today's episode has opened me up to myself, and I'm loving who I am. So I went into the wedding with that much confidence, right? And at this wedding, there were a lot of people that I went to high school with. Um, well, not directly in my high school, but people who were around me during my high school years and also in my early 20s, right? And it was so cool to interact with them now as this person that I am, as Katleho, who is, exploring her creative side and really unearthing who she is, and who is somewhat more comfortable with who she is. I had such beautiful interactions. And it's not that I've never had beautiful interactions with these people before, but I really enjoyed myself because in that moment when I was interacting with them, I was not looking to be validated. All I was looking for was for us to connect. And it happened. It was so great. There was a certain guy that I was chatting to, and I used to be very intimidated by this guy because he was like the good-looking guy back in our 20s and whatever. He's still a good-looking guy. Yo, Bora, if you listen to this, you're still a good-looking guy, my boy. It was quite intimidating. And because back in the day I used to be very insecure. I mean, I really touched on that in my last podcast, and this has nothing to even do with a romantic thing, right? Even with friendships, even with dealing with the opposite sex, I didn't feel, really good about myself. I mean, I did have experiences that contributed to that, and we are going to get into those one day. Definitely, I will share that with you. So, I feel like he's never got an opportunity to know my personality. He just knew I was good people's, but didn't really know who I was. And I was never myself with him because I never felt comfortable. I was not myself with a lot of people. So I got myself tongue tied there. But that's the beauty of podcasting. And then, anyway, so yesterday, we're just chatting. He was telling me stuff. He was telling me about his life. I'm telling him about my life. It was such a nice interaction, guys. It was such a nice interaction. I got to know him in a better way. Cool people. I've always known he was cool, but I didn't think I didn't realize he was that cool. He obviously thought I was funny. Guys, I'm very funny. I just need to break it to you. Like, if you did not know, I'm a very funny girl. Very, very funny. It hasn't come out on the podcast yet. It will come out at some point. We're still on a deep journey, né? And we have to stay here. But it was nice. It was really, really nice. And you know what? When I think of this like phase that I'm now in, you know, how the podcast has like opened up like a fun and an enriching experience of being me. Like it's made my human experience so much more fun. There's a song that comes to mind, and there's a certain climax in the song. Okay, it's Anita Baker, "Rapture of Love." Yes, yes. You know when she says, la, 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 la. Okay, I can't sing though. Caught up in the rapture of love. And listen, I'm Praetorian, right? And Praetorian people love soul sessions. And I was raised by a sister, my sibling, raised me with my parents, though, that is. You know, she is a soul head, like a soul head. So when I think of where I am right now, I think of that song and just that climax. It has nothing to do with the lyrics. Nothing to do with the lyrics. Just that feeling I get when I hear la 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 la. Sorry, I can't sing though. Damn. But yeah, I feel good. I feel good. I feel really, really good. I feel really good. Yesterday was so enriching for my soul. Yo, guys, I feel good. And I really want to say thank you. Honestly, I want to say thank you. But yeah, let's get into the episode. So today we're speaking about people pleasing. Yes. So, fun fact, this was supposed to be the very first episode of the podcast, right? Because a big part of this season is the things and the themes in my life I'm looking to make my 30s better, you know, to make my 30s that sweet spot, right? After having quite a tumultuous but fun 20s, okay? And I have to apologize, guys. I am fluish, so you're going to hear me. I'm going to be quite nasally. I'm going to sound like, you know, like no, I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to speak like this, but yeah, I'm quite sick. But anyway, so People Pleasing was supposed to be the very first episode. I shot maybe 3 versions and then I deleted it. And I'm glad I deleted them because I wasn't ready to have that conversation. And that's something else. Okay. So for those of you who doesn't know what people pleasing is, who don't have an idea of what it means to be a people pleaser, I'm just going to give you a simple definition, right? And I Googled it. And what came up was a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. Okay, so it's also very important to explain that people pleasing is not a personality trait, it's not a personality disorder, it's not a condition. Okay, it's just a group of actions, and maybe some people can say inactions, that a person will do or will have in order, you know, to please others. Okay. And I don't feel that there are people that are people please like it's like a group of people. I feel every human being has had an experience or an event where they have people pleased. And that's because of the society we live in, right? And if you don't agree with me, it's fine. You can meet me outside. But because a lot of things for it to get through or to get by or to get approved requires the validation of another person, we definitely will all find ourselves in, at some moment, you know, people pleasing. For some people, it can really plague their lives. And I think for some time, I've allowed myself to be a people pleaser for too long. And I just don't want to bring it into my 30s, right? And what made me realize that this is just not great was when I went against my own boundary to make a stranger happy. Okay, so let me give you context. Last year I went to Botswana. I was invited by a certain brand a foundation that is exciting opportunity. I didn't know anybody who was going to be there. So immediately when I got there, I put on a smile, my big smile. I've got a very cute smile. Okay. I put on my big smile with my dimple. I was kind and courteous to everyone. I always am. I'll never stop doing that. And I met someone immediately in the airport, right? So we hit it off. Oh, amazing woman, really cool, interesting, very warm, my type of stuff. So we hit it off. She tells me about herself, she tells me what she does, find her very interesting. So as we're talking, we start to realize that we know some people, we have mutual acquaintances because they're not my friends. And one of the acquaintances that she knew of or that we shared was someone that I'd done makeup on prior. Okay. So if you don't know this, if you're completely new to me, completely new to the idea of who Katlego is, I used to do makeup at some points, right? And my makeup name was Beats by Kaz. And I actually used to do a really good job. But anyway, so I met an acquaintance of hers through makeup. So that's how we then, I shared the story. So instantly she was like, "Oh my God, so you do makeup?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do makeup. And I think I had a beat on then. No, I didn't. I didn't have a beat on. So instantly she was like, "Oh my God, you need to do my makeup." And honestly, my heart dropped. So we got there 2 days prior to a big event. Okay, so the idea of the trip was to lead up to this event where people are going to be awarded, for their research projects. I thought it was super awesome. Uh, so that event, obviously, there was going to be publicity. There was also going to be the president while the president was there of the country. Okay, so yeah, we had to definitely show up. But in my mind, I didn't plan to go to Botswana to do anybody else's makeup but my own. And I didn't plan to be of service to anybody, right? I just planned to be a guest. But anyway, we're hitting it off and I don't say no. I just don't say no. I say yeah, like I go with it, you're right. And she's excited. She's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have so much fun. We're gonna be getting ready together." I actually don't like getting ready with people. Funny enough, I'm not like that kind of girly girl that likes to get ready with people. I really feel like getting ready is like a, how can I put it? Like a self-care moment for me. Like I just want to just be on my own. I listen to my music. I talk to myself. Maybe I'll have a FaceTime with my man, but it's just like a me time, right? And I just like enjoy seeing myself go from little Katli to the swan. Oh, I just love it, right? And I love it in my own privacy where no one will say anything, and then we all meet up and we're just shocked by each other. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting it quite nasally. I need to actually look for tissue. Let me see if I can deal with this. Okay. Anyway, so I hesitantly say yes, and it was full on people pleasing, right? I did not want to be disliked by this person. I wanted to be accepted by this person, right? So even though prior to me going to Botswana, I had already, decided I've closed the business. I don't want to do people's makeup anymore in whatever capacity. It's just not me. And I actually even get like this visceral like reaction to people asking me to do their makeup. Like I really just am not interested in doing it anymore. Right? And it's not because anything bad happened. I'm just not interested. So anyway, and also as I said, I didn't know anybody on the trip, so she was the only person. We already fell in love with each other at the airport, and I really liked her. I still do, though. That is. So fine. This thing is sitting in the back of my head, right? That, oh, I need to do this person's makeup, and I'm just praying for like something to happen where it just will be impossible, and I won't look like the bad guy. So a day passes, and then um another person who I knew of comes onto the trip, right? So we didn't have any kind of friendship. I just knew her from social media. I don't think I'd seen her at an event. But yeah, we've never had like a proper conversation, whatever. But we also hit it off, completely hit it off. And she's my babe. Like I love her. And something that really drew me to her is that she has no time to accommodate others at her inconvenience. She will never do that. And that day we were being very inconvenienced. And I just loved how she was like standing on business. Honestly, she was like standing her ground, you know. She is older than me, but you could tell like she is so comfortable. She is so secure with herself. She's not looking to make friends. She's not looking to make enemies either, but she has very strict boundaries. So we also hit it off, right? And then the next day, we spent the whole day together by the pool. And that evening was going to be then the event. So this trip, it was kind of like different for everybody because of whatever capacity that the person had come there for, or to fill, whatever. So my first friend, let's call her Lucy. So Lucy was actually quite a big deal at this event. Very, very big deal at this on this trip, right? So she was being called in for um, press junkets and all that stuff. And that day, other people who weren't, part of that had the day off. And that's why me and my other friend, who I'll call Judy, were just chilling by the pool. Cool. So Lucy was out for quite some time. I'm chilling with Judy. Then I tell Judy, I'm like, I'm just realizing now that by the time Lucy comes back, if I have to do her makeup, um, I won't have enough time to do my makeup. Or it'll mean I'll have to do my makeup early and sit with makeup, which is something I don't want to do because I really want it to be fresh because I also have very oily skin. But either way, I don't have to explain myself in that regard. I just didn't want to do it earlier, right? And if I had to start with her and I know I was going to put in a lot of work, it would mean that by the time I do my makeup, I'm rushing it and I won't be happy. So she was like, okay, then text her and tell her that you can't do her makeup. So I'm like, no, I can't do that. She's relying on me. We already spoke about this 2 days prior. I feel like I'm not giving her enough time. And she's like, ma'am, what do you mean? I'm like, no, but I can't do that. She's like, ma'am, this person knew she was coming to this event. When this person came and accepted to come to this event, she did not know of you. So you were never part of her plans. It's as soon as she heard that you have the skill that she now made you part of her plans. You are definitely well within your right to decide at this moment that you're not doing her makeup. I was like, no, but that would be selfish. Or she's like, in actual fact, she's selfish for expecting you to now, a person who's been invited on this trip, not as a makeup artist, to now be a makeup artist. And if she doesn't understand that, then that's it. You don't have to like vie for this person's validation. And if she's the person that you've described her to be, she'll definitely be understanding. Guys, I went back and forth with myself. And I hated that. I hated that. I hated how much I typed a long text, deleted it, trying to find a decorative way, but not being direct. And Judy kept saying, Katleho, Lucy will be fine. She was fine before she knew you were a makeup artist. She will be fine. She will make a way. You don't have to do it. Everybody gets it. Everybody wants to look good tonight. You were invited here as a, a key opinion leader or whatever. It doesn't matter, but you were not invited here for a makeup. If she really wants to do makeup and she wants it professionally done, they can organize it for her, but you don't have to stress yourself with that. So then I sent the message, and it actually went really well. She was really understanding, and she was like, "Oh, okay, babe, so no issue. And anyway, I'm still busy with my nails. I will just put something together, but I might not look that nice." And I just felt so bad. But in actual fact, and it took a while for me to realize this, what Judy was saying was definitely correct. I was never a part of this person's plans. She took an opportunity, and there's nothing wrong with her doing so, but there's also nothing wrong with me saying no. But for me, that was so difficult because I really didn't want to lose this person's validation of me, and I didn't want this person's opinion of me to change because it was so positive, right? And honestly, Lucy was a great person. It really went well. She really didn't mind. It was fine. It was honestly okay. But then what happened is later on that evening, like much later on that evening, oh no, it was the next day. The next day, we had gone for an excursion, and Lucy couldn't come with us to this excursion. But that excursion was very taxing, right? We finally get to the hotel to eat, and I was just tired. Like, I just didn't want to be with people. I was socially spent. Like, I just didn't want to be with people anymore. So Judy could tell this. She was definitely willing to give me space. Lucy didn't know the day we had. Well, she knew, but she didn't realize that we were all very tired. So there's a point where she's asking us for pictures, and I literally just didn't want to pose. And she kept asking, "Please, please, get a picture. Please, can I get a picture?" And I literally just didn't want to take the picture. And I became irritated, and it was visible. And I became irritated because I wasn't enforcing my boundaries, and I I put myself in a position to do something I really didn't want to do, and my body was not capable of doing. And now I didn't have energy to hide that. I didn't have energy to people please through it, but I still did. And instead of us having a better interaction in which I could have just said no and walked away, because Judy said no. She's like, "No, I'm not taking a photo. I'm tired." Um, because then I said yes, and I was so irritable. Lucy then had to send me a message the next day, and she was like, "I'm so sorry," and all that, that I had to go through all of that. So, you know what? My point is, there's been a lot of interactions where I haven't put up boundaries, and I've been able to get away with it because maybe I had the energy or whatever. But there will become a point where you will be spent, and instead you will land up really resenting people. Okay, so I know for certain there's some of you or most of you that have had the same type of interaction, right? And there's a quote I read that I think is really dope. And it says, "If outside validation is your only source of nourishment, you'll be hungry for the rest of your life." And that is honestly true. I have never really gained much from any relationship that I've gained through people pleasing. And there's another quote that I read. It wasn't a quote, but it was a statement, an opinion, on people pleasers. And the person had written, "People pleasers are actually low key manipulators." And obviously, because I don't want to be regarded as a bad person, I was like, "Oh, no." But honestly, now when I think about it, when I really dismantle it, there is a little portion of manipulation, right? You might not intend to be manipulative, but if you're only doing things for people to gain their validation or to gain something, then you're really being manipulative because you're not being your authentic self. You're not doing it because you just want to do that thing, right? You're doing it because you want to gain something. And this brings me to another thing that I read. And it says people pleasing behaviors that can be confused for being nice. Okay. So one, putting other people's needs first. Two, not showing your true feelings to avoid conflict. 3, always agreeing with people and doing what they want. Allow people who haven't changed back in your life. How many of us can say yes to this? Guys, come on. Romantic relationships mostly. 5, not exerting your boundaries due to fear of rejection. And 6, offering to do things even when you don't want to. So if any of these things have resonated with you, then honey, you're a people pleaser. Or you found yourself in a situation where you have people pleased. And now you need to start asking yourself, have you gained anything from it? I know I definitely don't want to bring it into my 30s. Okay. And especially because of where I want to go, even with my career. Because people pleasing doesn't only affect relationships, it doesn't just affect, friendships, it doesn't affect your romantic relationship, it doesn't affect the boundaries that you have with your parents or whatever. It even affects your professional life. And I have now found myself in a leadership role, quite young, if I should say so. And I wasn't planning to be in that leadership role. Honestly, my job is a dream come true, but it's a dream I didn't even realize I had until I found myself in it. And I'm managing people who are older than me, who have more experience in what they're doing, um, that outlives me. And I am the one that has to give them the say so. I am the one that's now all of a sudden um, the leader and the manager. And it has been so intimidating and so daunting. And if you have people pleaser traits, like I do, it can be very difficult to assert yourself and to also discipline. Disciplining has been the worst part of it. And unfortunately for me, I have had to discipline quite a few people, or I've had a lot of instances where I've had to reprimand certain actions because it goes against the policy. And it's funny because I've tried my hardest my whole life to avoid being a leader, even though I'm quite opinionated, very, very opinionated, and I do have valid points. And I'm innovative. I can lead. Well, this role is teaching me that I actually can lead. I've tried to avoid it this whole time because I just didn't want to be disliked. I didn't want to lose that validation or the acceptance of other people, right? How sad is that though? That I have, stolen opportunities from myself to actually equip myself for this moment. But it's fine. I'm here now, right? I'm here now. And because I want to continue having roles like this, I want to continue to be able to contribute from this point and from this perspective, I have no other choice but to dismantle this people pleasing. So it's become even more important and more of a priority for me to get to a place where I am not navigating life from the point or perspective of trying to get external validation. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because remember, what did we say? If outside validation is your only source of nourishment, you'll be hungry for the rest of your life. And girl, I'll be hungry. I'll definitely be hungry. If I don't have this type of job, I'll definitely be hungry. Like, it's actually a physical and literal thing for me, right? And we all know, look, women in leadership roles, there's a lot of, negative nuances that come with it. People already think that you're a bitch if you reprimand or if you criticize. But I think I've found a way, I think I've found a rhythm where my soft and my kindness will always show up, even though I have to share something that is difficult for the other person to hear. So it is possible. You can reprimand, you can give criticism, you can discipline and not be a bitch. But there'll still be people who will not like you, even when you make that effort, right? So don't let that be the biggest thing. Okay. So I've now told you about the impact on me in terms of my career, but also in terms of my authenticity. And as you know, I'm on a journey. I really want to be home with myself. And being at home with yourself means that you need to be an honest person. You need to be able to be honest with yourself. You need to feel secure with who you are, right? People pleasing does not make time for that, my darling. It doesn't. People pleasing will not allow you to be authentic at all. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid being disliked. So a lot of the times you'll mold yourself to fit into what you think the other person needs from you, right? And I also think this huge fear of rejection has been a huge driver for me because I've had moments where I've been rejected. I've been rejected in very big ways. I've had rejection in very subtle ways. I've experienced what I feel like abandonment in a lot of ways, right? Um, and because I struggled through those, I've been trying to avoid that with everything. But you know what? Even if you do the right thing, or even if you please your way through, you will still get rejected. That's why I still got rejected even then, right? So even learning and understanding that rejection is just redirection. It just means your life has to pivot, learn from whatever situation that is, but don't try to change who you are to keep people in your life or to keep things in your life that are just not working with you. Okay. So yeah, being authentic is a huge driver for me to also try to dismantle this people pleasing. And I really enjoy the relationships that I have now. And I want to continue having these types of relationships, relationships where people see me for who I am and love me for who I am, where I have, been secure enough to be critical of people and to receive criticism as well, right? Another thing that people pleasing will also affect is how you address conflict. And whether you like it or not, you can never run away from conflict. There will always be conflict. The fact that we grow up in different homes and have different experiences and have different thought beliefs means that there's going to be a point where you're not going to agree with someone. And if you're a people pleaser, you'll always avoid that, which means that you also steal away an opportunity for yourself from learning from a different perspective, right? I'm a ghoster. And I know that's toxic. I'm a ghoster because I don't want to be in a situation where I have to have conflict and where criticism of me will become evident. Even as a doctor, I don't feel that I allowed myself to really, realize my full potential because I wouldn't want to put myself in a situation where I could lose someone's validation by messing up. And I remember when I was starting out, in the medical career, when actually I was a student intern, I was shadowing this reg, and he was like, he was a machine, and we were putting an intercostal drain into someone, and if you know anything about intercostal drains, they're quite traumatic, right? And the whole time I kept saying sorry. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. So at some point, the reg asked me to leave. He was so irritated. And then he pulled me to the side. He said, please stop saying sorry. Because every time you say sorry, you make the person believe that we're not doing what we're doing for his benefit. It's as if we're doing something that needs apologizing for, and that's not what we're doing. But what he didn't realize is that I really felt bad and I didn't want to be disliked by this person because we're stabbing him to put a pipe in him. But he was true. It was true, right? And I do this a lot. Even when I would, stumble during orals. I hated oral tests. Guys, yes, I talk a lot. But I would cower away. I would shrivel up during orals. Guys, where I honestly would know the work, I would self-sabotage myself because the whole time I'm thinking, I don't want to disappoint this person. I don't want to disappoint this person. I don't want to disappoint this person. I'm just looking for validation. And look, honestly, doctors are not always nice people. And they will definitely criticize you, and they'll criticize you in a terrible way. And I just didn't want to have that experience. I genuinely don't want to have that experience. So there's been a lot of orals that I definitely flunked or I did terribly in because I was just sabotaging myself because I could get this, so that I could get this external validation. And I would have a depersonalization situation where I'd be looking at myself and I'd just be the small little person just saying sorry the whole time. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, no. I don't want to be that person anymore. That's not happening anymore. No, 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 no. We're not apologizing for anything. We're not apologizing for being who we are anymore. We're not apologizing for our gifts. We're not apologizing for our mistakes. We're not apologizing for whatever inadequacies we have, because no matter what, there's always an opportunity to learn and to be better. And if somebody is not willing to give you that opportunity, that's fine. That's their loss. Move on. Okay. So let's get to what I will be doing and what I want to impart to you if you have been in my situation, or if you can resonate with some of the things that I'm sharing. The biggest thing is definitely opening myself up to criticism. That is number one. And this podcast has definitely been a big step in me doing so, because I'm sorry, you might hear my child crying. Because, this is me being very vulnerable, right? So that's number one, opening myself up to criticism and learning to take it and learning to understand that there'll be people who really will want the best for me. And that criticism can build me up. It doesn't mean that every time I don't perform to what I think is my best ability. It means that I will never have an opportunity to do so, Okay, so that's a big one. Number two, boundaries. And being very clear and setting my boundaries. I won't lie, I've had a kickstart in this because I have a daughter, I have a child. And if there's one thing, if you have children and you don't have boundaries, you'll struggle, because everybody wants to give you unsolicited advice. And if you don't stop that bus, I promise you, you will struggle. Okay. So, boundaries is a big thing for me. My daughter has made it a little bit easier, but it's just also continuing it in other parts of my life. So outside of my parenting, in my leadership role, in my romantic relationship, in my friendship, in interactions with strangers and so forth. Okay, very big thing. And number three, communicating and being honest in my communication. Saying, no, I don't want to do this, but communicating that in a very final way. Okay, so a big thing with boundaries is that you need to be able to communicate them, which means that you don't explain yourself. For you to set a tight seal boundary, so a boundary that no water can go through, a waterproof, a stainless steel, a strong, a hard boundary, a hard one. You need to be able to communicate it. And the best way to communicate it is to not make excuses while you're putting up that boundary. So if you don't want to hang out with someone, or if you don't want to go out, and you just say, hey, I don't want to hang out. You don't say, hey, I don't want to hang out because, my tooth is sore and now you're coming. Don't do that. You don't give an opportunity for someone to come in and dismantle that boundary. You don't give room for anybody to come in and make you second guess why you're putting up that boundary. So it needs to be tight seal. So learning how to communicate is also a big part of me getting to a point of, asserting my boundaries and getting off the people-pleasing bus. Because honestly, honey, I am not taking it to my 40s. I am not. Seeing how this friend of mine that I got from Botswana navigates her life has been such a beautiful and a wonderful eye-opener. She is happy, and I think she's actually much happier because she has boundaries. And she still has people around her, people still love her, people still respect her, and in actual fact, she has the right people around her, which is very important. So this was a long one. It was a very long episode. I'm very sorry about the nasally. No, I'm not sorry. That's me people pleasing. That's me asking you for your validation. I was sick, guys. It's fine. These things happen. I really still wanted to put out an episode, and I'm glad I've done this. I'm glad I could share this with you. And I really hope you got something from it. And I hope that whatever I've shared can be useful in your life and bring you value. Okay? Because that's what we do here. All right. See you at the next episode. Bye.